No, he's not here. Stop looking around in the background. But he is somewhere in town. He's been at the Steelers facility over on the south side. He's met with the coaches. And what do you want anybody to do? Like, what reaction are you supposed to have to this? I don't know of any scientific surveys. I don't think anybody's done any sort of, super intensive poll or anything, either of the fan base or just the public here in Pittsburgh. But I sure don't get the impression that a lot of people want this individual to be the starting quarterback. Now, I've said before, I'll say it again. You don't want the fans to be picking. You don't want me to be picking who's on your team. But it's not like people don't know who Rodgers is. It's not like people don't know who Mike Tomlin is. It's not like people who don't know, or people don't know the Steelers. And once you make a visit to a facility, and there are exceptions to this. The San Francisco fullback was just here a week ago. He totally used it as a ploy, went back to the 49ers, signed a big contract. You tend to see signings. Trying to picture, not mine. I know what my reaction is going to be. I'm trying to picture yours. I'm trying to picture what people will say, how they'll react. I'm trying to picture, what it would be like to have, an unpopular choice at quarterback, never mind an unpopular person. And, Tommy here says, perusing social media, I've seen less than 1%. I don't think it's less than 1%, but it's not a big number. The number of those, that are saying, oh yeah, man, I can't wait to have Aaron Rodgers here as my quarterback. Jacob says, DK, can we not? Geez, not what? What do you not want me to do? I don't even get that. Johnny says, I don't want Rodgers. Jay Moods is team, not Rodgers. Jonathan says, something tells me this will not be a QB-free day. Four-time MVP just visited the facility. What do you want to talk about? What else did you have in mind for a football subject? I'm right now. I'd rather turn this over to you in a way. Okay, I'd rather hear from you guys what it is that you have to say, and then react to it as necessary. But this is what I'm getting right now. I'm getting a no, hell no. I'm getting a no. Can't stand him, says Jay Moots. These are the people. These aren't Ravens fans. These aren't Bengals fans. These aren't Browns fans. These are people who are supporting this team. Now, Cole comes in at least with an open-minded, whatever that is. What's the worst that can happen with Rodgers? I don't know. I don't care to find out. He's 42. Scotia says this will be a sad, sad day today if they do. D-Boy says, we really don't have much in the way of options. Sure you do. Sure you do. Over a 42-year-old? Yeah, sure you do. Steel Curtain Post says signing Rodgers is a Super Bowl or bust kind of season. Who thinks this is a Super Bowl roster with or without him? Who thinks that? Please make that argument for me. Please tell me that this is like the next Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore, Philadelphia type roster. It's not. It's not. I like a lot of things about it. I like the way the arrow is pointing on some facets of the team, but this isn't a, wind it up and watch it go to the Super Bowl as long as they have a 42-year-old at quarterback. Jacob says, let's talk about Jaylen Warren. Why? I don't know what he's into today. I don't get that at all. Matt says, did he leave yet or is he still there? I mean, I don't know. I'm not hiding out in the parking lot all day to figure it out. want to hear from you today. Okay. Want to hear from you. Want to hear what you have to say about this. Want to hear and keep it real too. If you have don't feel like you need to fit in with everybody on the show, or certainly not, with me or Chris or whatever, but, just, come on in. Come on in here. Here, Jacob's really losing it today. Says DK's taking shots at all of us. No, just you. Just you. You're kind of losing it for some reason today. I'm not sure why. Juan says DK's so mad he's scaring the customers. Was I scaring the customers? No. Okay, I'm not scaring you? No, you're not scared. Okay. Our headquarters and shop, studio, whatever you'd want to call it, is open all the time when we do these shows. We have no issues with doing that. Chris says, I don't really like Rodgers as a player anymore because he's old and expensive. I would be curious to know how many of these people commenting don't want him because of his politics. I'm going to be totally blunt with you here. I don't even know his politics. I hear people reference it on occasion, but that's not of concern to me in one direction or the other. If it is to somebody else, hey, that's up to them. I don't even know what it is. The PEF says if he comes in, I want him to be motivated and dedicated. I'd also like $1 million to fall out of the sky, so I guess we'll see. Why would he be motivated and dedicated? Toward what? Toward being a Steeler? Toward the city? Toward what? He's coming back to play for what would this be, I guess this would just be his third team, right? It's just that it's his 100th season, I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense to me. Let's bring in Chris after the break here.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
Welcome back. Joined by Chris Halleck, as promised. What's up, Chris?
What's going on? I heard some news happen today.
Yeah, a little bit. Back off the mic there. There you go. Yeah, you were like eating it or something. There, try it now.
I had my gain turned up.
Oh, he had his gain turned up. Listen to him going all audio file on you here. Mario says DK's in a bad mood today. Chris, you've seen me in a bad mood. Is this it?
No.
Not
at all. Trust me. No.
This is not it. What this is, I don't like this as a move. I don't even like this as a pursuit. It's not about me. It's about this. It's about the Steelers. It's about the 2025 Steelers. And it's actually also about the Steelers beyond that. It's about what happens in 2026, what happens in 2027, what happens when they find their actual quarterback, not the 42-year-old. I also don't like, and this is where I really want to bring Chris in on this subject. We now have a very solid idea, as opposed to just kind of guessing at it or feeling at it for a while, that there's one person who wants this quarterback. One. Okay?
Yep.
And I'm not crazy about that either, because the one person who wants it hasn't won a playoff game in a long, long time. And the one person who wants it has made a lot of mistakes at this particular position. And this feels like another one, not just toward the coming season, but again, also toward the seasons beyond that.
Well, I'll make a counterpoint on a couple of things. I don't think this impacts 2026 and beyond.
Why?
Because this feels like a home run swing for 2025, because my impressions so far, until the Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan sat down and had dinner with Jalen Milroe at Alabama's Pro Day that the Steelers are not overly interested in the quarterbacks because they could have been really interested in Jackson Dart and Tyler Shock and Jalen Milroe and all these guys because they were in Mobile. They were at the Senior Bowl. They could have been, Mike Tomlin could have been sitting there salivating over those guys. What was he doing instead? He was, tied at the hip with Walter Nolan and all of the defensive tackles there. He didn't even look at the quarterbacks that throughout an entire week in Mobile.
That's interesting.
I don't get the impression that they are married to the idea that they have to find their quarterback this year. This feels like a home run swing. This gives them the best chance at winning a Super Bowl. Now, from their perspective, do I think Aaron Rodgers helps them win a Super Bowl? No, I don't.
Oh, no.
But of all the remaining options, beyond them not re-signing Justin Fields, in their eyes, I think that they believe that Aaron Rodgers gives them the best chance, and that's what Mike Tomlin wants to do. The quarterback of the future is most likely going to be drafted in 2026, not this year. So that's my counterpoint to
all right.
it not affecting this year.
Here's my counterpoint.
Yeah.
We could do this all day.
I know. I love it. This is football talk.
You and I also went back and forth just yesterday.
Yeah.
On how you need to take a lot of shots to get your guy.
Agreed.
And you need to get a bunch of bodies in here.
Mm-hmm.
And they do need to be in the fold to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at Milton in New England, what's his first name?
Joe.
Joe. Okay. And I looked at some of his film. Was just doing this yesterday, actually. 6'5", can move, rocket arm. Just right now is just buried by the Patriots. And understandably, I see what they're doing with Drake May, and then you get yourself your professional backup in Josh Dobbs and everything else here. But he's buried. I'd rather have him here. I'd rather have him in Pittsburgh. Okay? I'd rather be able to coach him up, see how he works with Arthur. To me, there's value in that. To me, there's more value in that than pretending that you're going for a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know? And if you bring him in and you get yourself, I'm sorry, I'll be done in a second.
Oh, no, you're good.
If you're doing that and you bring in or make a draft pick,
mm-hmm.
Okay, it doesn't have to be the third rounder. It can be whatever, but get a draft pick,
mm-hmm.
and that now you have a couple of them, and now you also have Mason at age 29. If Mason uncovers his inner Sam Darnold / Geno Smith, whatever you got, so you actually have 3 viable options to become somebody who at least has the opportunity to mean something towards you next season and beyond. Rodgers shuts all that out. He shuts all that out. The offense gets restructured. Everything gets tailored toward him, including probably personnel, the way it happened with the Jets. I'm just not interested.
That's the part that I'm interested in when it comes to this marriage with Rodgers and the Steelers, because I don't foresee the Steelers acquiescing. There's your word of the day, by the way. Acquiescing to Rodgers the way the Jets did. Mike Tomlin has way more power than Rob Saleh ever had. Mike Tomlin has like 50,000 times the power Rob Saleh had in New York.
But you don't see Tomlin acquiescing if he's getting all fanboy over this guy the way he does. You don't see Tomlin saying, I mean, that's all right now. That's all we have in this whole story is that Tomlin wants this quarterback, right? Okay, That's all we have. Mm-hmm. I like nothing about that scenario alone. Just that. I don't like it. Greg says, DK, you're wrong about the roster. We had the hardest schedule stretch in history of the NFL. Add Metcalf, Slay, a healthy Cole Holcomb, respectfully. Well, I don't know that they got stronger at inside linebacker because I still have no idea why they'd give up Landon Roberts. Look, nobody talked more about the schedule and everything else that went into the collapse. What you can't do is you can't sit here and say that this is a top 2 or 3 team in the AFC, with or without Rodgers. You can't say that. Not after what you just witnessed. Even on the defensive side, where all the money was, where all the superstars are, and everything else here, you saw what happened to them towards season's end. You can talk about the schedule. You can talk about how compact it was. You could even blame some of that on the offense for not staying on the field longer. What you can't do is erase it. It did happen. Okay, they got destroyed in Baltimore. They got embarrassed in that playoff game. That can't just be wiped away with a couple of excuses. I'm not, and you guys know this. Chris knows this. I'm not down on the 2025 Steelers. I'm sure it sounds like it right now. I think there's a pathway toward getting better. I think there's a step up that they can take. I think 10-3 is that team. You could bring that back. To sit here and pretend that you're one 42-year-old player away from the Super Bowl, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't think that the Steelers become a Super Bowl contender with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that, but I just think from their perspective, he gives them the best. Like I said, it's their home run swing. This is what they believe is most likely their highest ceiling move is to add Aaron Rodgers to the mix, because there is a chance. I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert. What I've pre-written for if and when Rodgers signs, I'm going to say that this is going to be, this is already written. This is either going to be, this could be Brett Favre to the Vikings, who they went to an NFC championship, or this could be a complete catastrophe. This could be 4-13. Rodgers was just, we're talking 2018 season, but worse in terms of drama, in terms of just circus sideshow. But I think Mike Tomlin's willing to gamble at the type of coach that he is, the type of leader that he is, that he can keep it all together, and he can. That's what Mike Tomlin does.
Oh, he'll unite them. I don't have any. Just because Cam says something on his podcast the other day, that stuff is, we've seen it countless times. Tomlin will just laugh it off and put it all together. Hey, listen, this is how it's going to be, and you're either in or you're out. Volunteers, not hostages. Blah blah blah. Steven comes in with a $10 contribution that's appreciated. It says, "I think Aaron Rodgers will be fine if the offensive line can protect him. He still has a quick release. He does get rid of the football fast.
He does.
He's always done that.
Yeah, that'll
help the line. But I feel that Mason Rudolph would be good with good offensive protection as well. Well, most quarterbacks are good whenever they have time. That applies even to ordinary quarterbacks.
Jalen Milroe will do good with time."
But the difference is, yeah, that's good. He just run in the other direction. Straight line, right? 4-3-7. Yeah. With Rodgers and the offensive line, though, there's a different discussion to be had. And that is, if somebody gets to his 42-year-old body, that's not being skeptical. That's just father time stuff. Chris's body was creaking yesterday when he got out of bed.
It was
creaking 6 times.
Yeah, six bones. I just
heard.
straightened my leg and my knee popped just now. No, I that's actually probably my biggest concern on the field when it comes to Aaron Rodgers is I like the fact that he gets rid of the ball quickly. He was third fastest in the league last year in terms of time to throw. But I think a big reason for that is because he doesn't want to get hit. So he will get rid of the ball quickly so he doesn't get hit. He is not going to be this type of guy like Mason would be to stand in the pocket and take a hit if it means making a throw downfield. So there will be pressure on the offensive line to block for him.
Well, maybe there will also be pressure on the 42-year-old to, stand in there and do his job. One of the things about Ben Roethlisberger late in his career was you saw what that looks like when the quarterback does not want to be hit.
Yep.
Ben was going to get through that last season standing up one way or another. He was, and I say that with immense respect because all he did in the first 10 years of his career was take every
single shot.
He was like he was waiting for them. Yeah. But that was not what he was doing later on. And that's not an accident.
Yeah.
That's what happens when those guys get up there. Tom Brady wasn't doing anything different. Best quarterback we've ever seen in our lives. That guy once he got near the end, he was like, nope. The last thing I need to do right now is be horizontal. No thanks.
And Scotia here says, no way he plays all 17 games. That's why they signed Mason Rudolph.
He just did.
Fairness. He did. But I would agree that if I'm a betting man and you're asking me yes or no, Aaron Rodgers plays all 17 games, I would bet no.
Oh,
even though he just did. But
this is the AFC North, man, and these aren't the Jets. These are going to be meaningful games. Everybody's not giving the Jets their best and their baddest and their meanest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who cares about the Jets?
Yeah.
The football Jets.
Yeah. So, but that's why they signed Mason Rudolph. They signed Mason Rudolph to have a high floor backup if they do sign Rodgers, because they know what Mason Rudolph is. They know what he can do. They know what he can provide. He started games for them. He started meaningful games for them, playoff games for them. They know what Mason provides. That's why they brought him back.
Ryan says DK's always saying it's just Tomlin. It has to be a group decision. The top 3 people in the organization make decisions in unison. Okay, I'm going to quote directly from the head coach's mouth. You know where I'm going, Chris. After he made the decision following week 6 to bench Justin Fields and turn to Russell Wilson, he described himself as the Lone Ranger. Lone as in one, Ranger as in singular. He does have that kind of sway there. Now, could Art Rooney come in and say, hey, Mike, I'm not really liking this.
Yeah.
I'm not really liking this. I'd rather see us, do this other thing. I'd rather see us, start building toward, who was it that stepped in and made sure that Ben Roethlisberger was drafted? It's Dan Rooney. Every once in a while, the person who runs the company has to just step in and say something. Bread says here, why can't they do both, DK? I don't know what you mean by both. Play both quarterbacks? What's that mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Yeah,
but just to that point of what you said, like there have been decisions that have been made in recent years in which it was Art Rooney telling Tomlin. He does still tell Tomlin what to do. If he puts his foot down, it's not happening. It's just like Mike Tomlin has a lot of pull, probably more pull than any head coach in the league. But
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just say the buck stops with Rooney though. If he says no, or if Tomlin wants to do one thing and Rooney says no, we're doing this other thing, that's what happens.
Okay,
that
so
still happens.
This is a hypothetical here, but does Rodgers even set foot into the facility today if Rooney doesn't want him?
No.
So doesn't that mean that Rooney's okay with it?
Exactly. That's the thing is that this isn't Mike Tomlin.
This is so bad.
Yeah, Rodgers would not have been on the South Side today if Rooney was vehemently against this.
Michael Bobrick says Aaron Rodgers is past his prime. He'll bring unnecessary drama to the locker room. He can't get past his ego. It's why Cam Hayward spoke up. Let him go elsewhere. Maybe he will. Maybe the Steelers will get unwittingly lucky here, and the Giants will roll out some big red carpet, and they'll offer more money or multiple years. But it really does look like it's here or the other side of East Rutherford.
Yeah. Really, really quick. I did see some people saying, it looks like he left without a contract. Remember, Russell Wilson left without a contract last year too, and he ended up signing or agreeing to terms 2 days later. So just because they left without a contract doesn't mean that they're not going to sign.
Cyblock says, sign Rodgers for 1 year. He'll get 5 or less wins, and they'll be able to draft the future. You could do that with anybody.
Yeah.
You walk out on the sidewalk and get you that quarterback.
Yeah, you can draft Jalen Milroe and let him start 17 games.
Running in the wrong direction really fast. Tom Wishall says, I heard him, I presume he means Rodgers, talking the other day. I don't like his attitude. It doesn't fit the team. I don't want him as a starter. They're bringing him in to sell tickets. Oh, dude, no.
They don't need to sell tickets.
They don't need to sell tickets. They have a waiting list.
Steelers.
Yeah, it's the Steelers. Sell tickets.
Yeah. No, they're again, it's their home run swing. This is their home run swing for 2025.
It feels like a ground rule double swing.
Yeah.
9
and 8. Solid base hit.
Well, I don't know. I just, whatever it is, it's,
Yeah.
Look, I want a quarterback in here.
Mm-hmm.
I want, within that, the quarterback. And I want a plan that gets you closer to that goal. Nothing about Rodgers does that. If anything, it holds it back. How long are you going to wait? This decade, the 2020s, has proceeded in its entirety without not only that quarterback, but without that plan.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is spectacularly indefensible. That to me is the number one reason that the Steelers have not won a playoff game, despite having all the talent that they've had on defense, despite occasionally sprinkling in some good things on offense. That is the reason. That is it. And they're still, Chris, looking for a way to just tap dance around it because, ooh, shiny object.
Yeah. So this reminds me, you could help me out with this history because number one, you know the team immensely better than I do. Plus, you were alive at the time and I wasn't. This kind of reminds me of a time when the Penguins were just floating with mediocrity in the late 70s, early 80s. And then they eventually just decided we're not trading draft picks anymore. And 1984 happened and they drafted Mario Lemieux. Now, I think there's a plan in place already, and it's actually already put in action, which is why you're going to see possibly 4 compensatory picks next year, is that they're loading up so that they can be aggressive and go get their quarterback next year.
You mean move up in the first round?
Correct.
Okay.
Because it's Mike Tomlin's team. It's a Mike Tomlin coach team. I doubt they're going to finish anywhere where they could possibly be in the top 10. So they're going to have to trade up to get that guy. You have the firepower, or you have at least more firepower to do so. That's my feeling right now. They're not going to tip their hand on that, but that's my feeling right now is that they're loading up. I mean, watching these compensatory picks like rack up, that to me that's their plan. Their plan, knowing that next year's quarterback class is going to be better next year anyway. That's the plan, I think, right now.
I don't even know what Coach Carter's getting at here. Anytime I see race in the comments, I get like, what? Because I don't think the Tomlin hate is even a race thing. DK seems to blame and share the same. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know, let's be.
We haven't once mentioned race at all.
No, but I think the suggestion is, well, if you're criticizing Tomlin, it's race. Come on, man. You know, take that stuff to Facebook. You know, where it belongs. I'm so, man. You know, and it gets said now so casually.
Yeah.
You know, that's. I'm putting it on the screen for a reason here because it's just like, you know, we can be a lot better than that here with the community that we're building here on YouTube and the conversations that we have. You know, if you hear somebody say something negative about anybody of any color, of any creed, gender, sexuality, or whatever it is here, believe me, it's because they're either really good or really bad at football things. Go ahead.
Coach Carter brought that up, and he said I apologize for even responding to the guy who.
Okay, yeah. No, that's. I mean, if you're coming in to respond to somebody, whatever, that's fine. No, we love everybody here except Cleveland fans. I want you to know that this is a place that very much discriminates against Cleveland fans.
Or just the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
It's not that the Browns are your arch rival. It's that there's some weird combination of delusional and more delusional. Like they think that they matter, you know, and it's so annoying that you can't even. What did Dr. Tony have to say here before I start getting myself in trouble with my very clearly discriminatory policy? Dr. Tony says, "Love from Vegas, great show." That's really cool, man. You didn't even ask anything.
Awesome, thanks, dude.
Peter says that he's off the little kids table. He meant the uncle's table. There is no Super Bowl answer at quarterback without being proved wrong on many accounts. Reiner says, Chris, our receivers take too long to run their routes. Who cares then if the pass comes out fast? This is a good point. Okay, because one of the things that you would talk to me about a lot during games was, well, let's call it what it is. A lot of these receivers, George Pickens included, don't complete their routes. They don't do the full sell job. You can say a lot of bad things, and I'm sure a lot of people have, about Deontay Johnson, but the one thing you got out of that guy was a 100% route. Every zig and every zag was done. And that's a big, 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 big thing, especially to Reiner's point here is a really good one. If you've got a quarterback with a, 1.7 second release time.
Well, DK Metcalf is a really good route runner, so I'm not concerned about him. And Calvin Austin really grew as one last year, too. There were a few different times. I wanted to see the little details in Calvin Austin's game grow as a route runner. And one of the great ways that it doesn't matter how fast you are, doesn't matter how quick you are, if you know how to attack leverage, if you know how to use a cornerback's hips against him, even if he has leverage on you for where you need to go, if he's lined up outside of you and you're running an out route, you got to find a way to use his hips against him so that you can get outside of him. Calvin Austin learned how to do that. And he did it very, very well. There were the corner route where he caught a touchdown. Remember that corner route against the Giants last year?
It's beautiful.
It was a beautiful play, but that cornerback was lined up outside of him. And I watched that play because there was an end zone view of that. And Calvin Austin, as soon as he got that cornerback's hips to flip inside, he cut to the outside and he was already gone. And that is the art of route running, is learning how to attack leverage. And
Hal annihilated that dude. Let's call it what it is.
He did.
Okay. And he knew it too.
Deontay was a master at that, by the way.
Yeah.
Deontay was a master at that. That's route running. And that's amazing. So,
by the way, not to turn the topic or whatever, but like one thing about Deontay, I'd take him back in a heartbeat.
I put him as one of my options for,
I know you did. I know you did. I'd take him back in a heartbeat. I think this team needs more of him, not less. I also think you'd see his price tag come way down after his little tour of NFL teams that he just went through.
Really cheap deal.
Levi says, I'm all in on Mason. Give the man a legit shot. I don't really have much to add on that subject.
I mean, again, I get it. I get people not wanting Aaron Rodgers. I get like the sideshow stuff. He's going to be on Pat McAfee every week. Who knows what he's going to say whenever he has the press conferences? Is he going to call out George Pickens for not running the route the right way? Like I get all of that stuff, and I get the concern with all that stuff. I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to look at this from the Steelers' perspective from my view of knowing the team, knowing the way Mike Tomlin operates. This is their home run swing. This is the way that this is the way that they feel they can best compete, best try to win. Mike Tomlin wants to win not only for himself, but he doesn't want Cam Hayward to retire without winning a Super Bowl. So he's going to do everything he can in every season to try to get that to happen.
MLKC says, why don't we pick up Trey Lance from free agency?
No.
Okay.
No. No. Mason. Give me Mason Rudolph at that point as your one. No.
You mean somebody who actually fits the Arthur Smith mold and will hang in the pocket and has okay. Yeah. Richard Wise says, I don't care either way. All of us will root and watch the 2025 Steelers regardless of who's behind center. Let's be real. I actually really agree with Richard. I think you're going to see that however it is that they do this, the uniform will prevail. Having everybody in Latrobe signing autographs will prevail. The first good thing you see from the offense in preseason will prevail, and everyone will say, here we go, and wave the towels, and everyone will forget all about it. Doesn't mean it's the right thing. Doesn't mean it's the right thing for the short-term or the long-term future of this franchise.
All it's going to take. Can you imagine the reaction on social media or wherever else, in the stadium, wherever, if the Steelers go out in week 1 with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback and he puts up 350 yards and they win 28-10? Can you imagine the reaction?
We love Coach Carter, by the way. I want to make that really, really clear and putting that up on the screen here.
We would love him more as a member.
We'd love it. No, she wants you to become a member, Coach Carr. See, like we already like give you this abuse and everything else, and now she's like, all right, yeah, send us 99 cents, dude. Ice cold over there. Ice cold. Tank for Arch, says Drake Greenstein. That might be what ends up. I don't know that you have to tank. You can move up too.
You don't have to tank. That's the one thing. I think that comes from the fact that the Penguins got Mario from tanking and got Crosby from tanking. You don't have to. It's the NFL's not the same. It doesn't operate the same way. You don't have to tank to get a quarterback.
Wandering Warrior says, shouldn't there be 3 sensible routes? 1 long, 1 middle, 1 short. I mean, it's a lot more complicated than that.
A lot more routes.
A lot.
There's all kinds of in-breaking routes, out-breaking routes, vertical routes. There's a whole route tree.
All in on Rodgers, says Sebastian Sanchez. All in. He's all the way in. Robert's all in on the Deontay redemption tour. He already made his tour, pal. How many teams did he play for? In the 2024 season, like even just on paper,
just calendar year. He started off 2024 on the Steelers. Obviously, was traded to the Panthers. Then he was traded to the Ravens.
Ravens. Wait, no, Houston was in there somewhere.
Right, and so the Ravens waive him,
and then he goes to Houston.
They waive him, and the Ravens pick him back up.
And the Ravens let him hang around, like just go sit in the couch in the lobby
for
a few days.
Yeah, they want that. They want the compensatory pick. That's what they want.
I get it.
That's why they brought him back.
That makes a lot of sense here. Dave Shipley asks, is there any talk about Cam Sutton sticking around? He's here. Yeah, he's here. He's in the building. Let's put it that way. He's not signed. He's in the building.
He's not under contract, but yeah.
Quentin Chandler, we're going to end the show with this. Quentin says, do you think, DK, when do you think you can tell us what happened between Russ and Arthur Smith? Not that I want him back, just wondering. Quentin, the best way to answer this is not that it's like some incident. Okay, there wasn't some moment or anything. Arthur has a way that he wants to conduct business as a coordinator. And that doesn't mean that it has to be his play style. That doesn't mean that he has to have a one-size-fits-all. But it does mean that when you're out there and running the offense, there's a methodology that you should be able to follow, to communicate. That's the word that kept coming up in my conversations with these people who were talking about this. He has to be able to communicate with this person or that person. And when he refuses to do that, it confuses not just the coordinator, it confuses everybody at the line of scrimmage. Okay. And I've been given a specific set of examples to go look at plays and say what happened here and what happened there. In every case, it was just Russ saying, I'm just going to do this my way. And then nobody knew what the heck they were doing. That's not tenable. And that also lines up, by the way, syllable for syllable with the accounts that came out of Denver that had Russ in trouble. It's not a personality thing. It's not he's a bad dude or anything. I mean, you guys see him. He's like the most amenable guy ever. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not some sort of conflict of egos or minds or whatever. It's just that I have to have you operating this offense at least mechanically at its foundation a certain way.
Yeah, there's for every offensive coordinator and play caller, there is always a method to the madness. Whenever you see a specific play called on 2nd and 8 or on 1st and 15, whatever the situation is, really good offensive coordinators, and I don't care what the consensus is on Arthur Smith right now, but I would call him a really good offensive coordinator. They're thinking plays ahead of the play that's called. They have a sequence in mind for how they're going to set things up to attack the defense. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
It's unacceptable. What that is, that's just flat out insubordination.
Yeah.
Okay. That's actually it. And again, it's not a specific, it's not a moment. It's not like they had an episode or something like that. It's just that. And not more than that. We're going to take one more today. I thought I saw a decent one here somewhere. What are you finding?
Somebody said he's Matt Canada 2.0.
No, he isn't.
Oh my gosh,
man. Dude, don't do that. Crazy Pollock unleashes his inner Alanis Morissette and says, DK, isn't it ironic? Tomlin thinks a man. Did anybody get that?
I got it. I got it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, who can't win in the playoffs, can help this team win. Also, how isn't Omar Khan telling Tomlin that this is Russell Wilson 2.0? Not really a question there. I appreciate the contribution. Steelers Love says, I'd rather see Mason as the starter. Frank wants people to smash the like button. And I'm looking for a question here. Find one more here to close the show out. Good question from somebody. Appreciate it. Steelers Jay comes in and says, just appreciate the coverage from DK and Chris. Not about feelings, just Steelers football. Keep up the great work. Appreciate that, Jay. Appreciate you. All right, nobody's asking questions, so we can just end the show, right? Oh, here we go. See, as soon as you say it like that,
I like
no one
this.
comes in and says, what running back in the draft? Actually, I don't have any clue about this. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, if Ashton Genty's there, even a few spots ahead of you, you trade up and get him because that's a future all-pro running back possibly. The only other guy in the first round I would consider is Omarion Hampton from North Carolina. You talk about a big guy who can run. That's that guy. But if they were to get back into the second round, well, I know the Steelers really love both guys from Ohio State, and that's Quinshon Judkins and Trevion Henderson. They like both of those guys. I'll find out more about them when I'm in Columbus for their.
But if it were early, you just have Genty if it's early.
Maybe Hampton from North Carolina.
Take a first round running back. There's no chance, man.
Genty would be a absolute, like I said, if he's there at 17, trade him.
If he falls, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, seriously. Like, because he's not. First off, if he falls that far, there's no way the Broncos let him go. And the Broncos are picking right ahead of the Steelers.
You have to leap ahead.
You have to leap ahead. So, and that's why I'm saying if Genty's there at 17, 16, 18, I'm going to get him. That's your future all-pro running back, possibly. At least Pro Bowl caliber running back. I mean, we're talking. This is not Najee Harris all over again. This is possibly LaDainian Tomlinson. Like, it's just that type of a guy, which is why I don't think he's going to be there. He's probably going to be gone top 10.
Gotcha.
But third round, there's some interesting guys in the third round. Seriously, I like Devin Neal from Kansas. I like DJ Giddens from Kansas State. Damian Martinez from Miami. Tootin from Virginia Tech. It's a really good running back class. Whoever they get, if they get somebody in the first 3 rounds, it's going to be a guy. It's going to be a dude. It's a good class.
Appreciate you, Chris. Good stuff all week, and we'll do this again on Monday. All kinds of business to take care of. So some people mentioned that I was mad. I don't get mad on this show. There's stuff in real life to get mad about. This ain't it. Okay. And that includes the quarterback. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. If it's Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to be deflated because it'll lessen my expectations for what I think otherwise could be a really fun season to cover. You know, this team, and I've been there, is a blast to cover when they're going well, when they're a real life contender. And they're not going to be one until they really address the quarterback position for the longer term. That's my stance here. You know, Crazy Pollock comes in and he assumes, I guess, because of my name, that I'm not from here. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh. Says, what brought you to Pittsburgh? The womb. Says, I've been following all DK Pittsburgh Sports since 2022, and I haven't heard that. Love the company. Hey, we love you as well. Appreciate it. I'm born and raised. My parents both came over from Serbia in the 60s, and they had me here. But yeah, I was a womb development at McGee Women's Hospital in Oakland, our Oakland. Our company, we started the company 11 years ago. We're not a YouTube channel per se. We're a company that YouTube comprises a small part of what it is that we do. We really, really enjoy it. So everybody who came in with stuff, are we ready? Here goes. Barbara comes in. with his standard gift. Barber's alias number 1 comes in with a gift. I think this is another one of those. And then this one, and then this one. And Carl comes in with 20. Appreciate that. Very kind. Dylan's in as a new member. I want to thank Stephen for coming in early with the contribution to go with his question here. Stephen then came in with another 20 in gift memberships. You don't have to do anything about that. Just they will come your way if you don't have a membership. They don't last though. They're not permanent. So you would still have to, become a member. That's at dkps.net/join, which you can always find on our screen. You have to type that into the URL up there. 1640 is the memberships count, according to the boss here just now. That's updated. So, that's a big old jump from yesterday, right? Yeah, yesterday was like we were just crossed over 1,500. Now we pull in another 120. That's very, very nice. Thank you. Awesome. I find this stuff out right when you do. She's the one that keeps track of it. LeBong James, one of the better nicknames we've had up here, says he watched T-Mac for 3 years at UA. Saw him, dude, your college football going right over my head. T-Mac at UA. I'm sorry. Thanks for the contribution. I have no idea what any of that meant. I follow the NFL. That's my football. Continuing here, Peter Baxis came in with a $4.99 super sticker. The Wandering Warrior with $5. Jay with $5. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Skipped over a bunch of people.
Yeah, I'm going upward now. I'm going upward. Paint Coach, whatever that means, $9.99 with the contribution. Pollock in with $9.99 before that. Tony with the $20 kind wishes from Las Vegas, Nevada. Siboko gifted 10. Jeffrey gifted 5. Carol, she just now what Carol's doing now? She just puts gifts in, hoping that they somehow result in Mason Rudolph being QB1. That's where she's at right now in life. She's just come on, let's just get Mason in. Levi with 20, and good place to end here is Carrie with the obligatory 1. And I got Steven. I got him. And then the PEF says signing Aaron Rodgers would be a Hail Mary for a ring. And a side note to the PEF, mentioned this either yesterday or a couple of days ago. We're going to try to figure out some kind of way to make sure that we're getting those old video J1Qs in. Not exactly sure what the format would be or when. Next week is probably not it, because next week I'm going to be spending in the state of Florida, crisscrossing for both baseball and hockey. We're still going to pull this show off somehow. Going to pull it off. It might not be the same picture quality or lighting or sound or whatever, but we're going to pull it off. So let's hook up here again next week, next Monday, for the Double Shot Show. Appreciate you. Aaron